Chip always knows if he can't find me in the house, he'll more than likely find me out in this little rose cottage, tucked away, preserving and pressing flowers like a little fairy. This is truly one of my favorite hobbies right now. This is like your typical framed flower, and I'll put the little label here. That hobby became a passion of mine that inspired this new idea at the silos. We're going to transform the seed and supply building into an herbarium. So an herbarium is like record keeping for your garden, but it's also like art. So the idea is that people can take a class and learn how to press, to dry florals. This is another way of doing it, which I've been experimenting with. This is putting flowers in silica gel, and you just put them in for 2 weeks. But look how beautiful that is. Taking what I've learned and translating that into a workshop is gonna be really fun for the guests. Anytime I come off a big renovation, I find myself craving smaller projects. Come on in. You know, the idea of Mini Reni is this is where I can feel a bit more freedom to try new ideas and end with these fresh, finished spaces that didn't require months of work. A moody mudroom, we can do that. You can make a big impact when you're open to getting a little creative and thinking outside the box. It's like big impact, small space. Yeah. The hope is that we can inspire you to tackle your own Mini Reni. We are at the silos today. This is the garden. I love this spot because this garden has been here since we started here at the silos. Over the years, we've expanded. And so based off of what I'm loving at the farm and the garden there, we revisited this space and decided, hey, let's update this building to make a really fun experience for our guests. And so we're gonna be redoing the whole interior and some of the exterior. When I think about Mini Reni, one of the challenges I love is taking a space from what it was to what it could be, and that transformation being quite dramatic. When I think about the seed and supply building, I can't help but smile because it just reminds me of those early days when Fixer Upper started. So when we first got this building, it was at the little shop on Bosque. We had all of our backstock in there. We moved it here to the silos and turned it into seed and supply, which is where we sold garden supplies. And now it has a new purpose. We're going to transform it into an herbarium. Okay, so I want to show you what we're going to do on the inside. I'm excited about what we're doing. What I love the most about this, especially for Mini Reni, is that this was a shed. Literally just plywood on the walls. I'm gonna keep this brick floor. I'm gonna get it nice and pretty again. This whole back wall will be an open shelf concept where a lot of materials will be, some racks for the hanging dried florals. This will be a long table for the guests to do their work. I want to create a really pretty trim on the windows so it doesn't feel too raw. On the exterior, we have to do new siding because some of the siding is already rotted out. New signage, a new fresh color, new sconces, new doors. But on the inside is what I'm most excited about. I want this to feel raw yet refined. That's silly. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
It's kind of like my brain, you know? It's like very opposite ends of the spectrum. Raw yet refined. And I know those are two opposite things, but because of the budget, I can't replace everything. So how can I refine it just a bit, whether that be with some trim work, adding some color in? Like, what are some things that will help refine it, but it still feel raw? So it's that balance of both that I feel like you'll see in this space. And I think they really work well together. Okay, seed and supply turned herbarium. Yes. So you have helped me with Rose Cottage and the garden shed and the thing I did at the farm with like all the garden flowers that I've dried. Right. To me, that's like the main thing. So when people walk in, I want the space to feel beautiful, like a really clean palette, but I want that to be, wow. Oh, wow. So the vision for this space is that guests can take a class and play with a lot of the flowers that I grow at the farm. And so there's gonna be hanging racks to dry flowers on, a large wooden table for the workspace, a wider shelving unit to hold supplies, and 2 additional work tables on either side. But in this design meeting, I'm really trying to balance, like, what areas do I want to keep raw and what areas do we need to refine a bit?
The walls, as is, they're just plywood, so you're getting a really rough texture.
Yeah. I do like the rawness of that, but then
Right.
how do we refine it a little bit, add some trim, maybe divert the attention from the plywood?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
Sure.
dimensions,
Like have that.
create a little depth here, but something as simple and cheap as this. So this was already on the wall.
Yeah.
I feel like that's easy. So go ahead and move forward, finish that out.
It's really simple.
This is for windows, right?
Yeah, just to either add a panel or a bead, a trim, a little doily.
I'm gonna keep all the existing windows, but just trim them out so they feel a little more refined and elevated. Like that feels true traditional. This too, the egg and dart's really cute, but I wanna see it.
Okay, as far as color, with that herbarium story, just kind of staying within green.
Yep. It's pretty, but maybe a little too, it may look like tan.
Okay.
I wanna paint the space a really soft green, maybe one of these.
Okay.
I feel like it's an inspiring color. It's soothing. This feels like a soft backdrop, but it's not competing. So I'll narrow it down to those for now.
Okay.
I want to see the sizes of the rods. For the hanging rack, I want to see that.
Okay.
And then for these like end tables, I want a different material. Copper could be really pretty depending on what color we decide. Okay, so anything on the exterior?
So the existing siding is in need of some replacing.
Yes.
It's just got a lot of wear and tear. So you kind of have options for a new type of siding.
I want to do the shingle, but that's made out of fiber cement, so it looks like the farm.
Right.
But the durability of it, I don't want to replace this siding every 5 years. I'm going to be at the silos, so let's try to meet.
Come on over. Okay.
And finalize anything in person.
Okay, sounds good.
Yay! Since this project is happening on the grounds at the silos, we want to get this done pretty quick because we don't like it being too disruptive for the guests. So we're hoping to have this finished in about 4 weeks. But when I think about this herbarium and the workshop, I see the guests really creating this memory on paper that they can take home with them and frame. And I feel like getting to share that feels really special. While we're working on the herbarium at the silos, back at the farm, we're continuing progress on our new dining room and the patio addition. This has been something I've planned for about 5 years, and I'm really big into when you're adding on, how do you make sure your space flows so it doesn't feel like an add-on, but it feels like this room that's been there all along. But the patio brick has been laid and the wraparound windows are in, so now I can really start visualizing what's going into the space. So Jez and Tim are making me a faux table. That way I can visualize. I am not a high maintenance client. Thank y'all. Jez, will you sit in that chair? And then I'm coming down the stairs, putting the platter on the console.
Yes, please.
I think that feels like enough space, but I don't know, y'all. What if we go 14, 8?
There.
I think we go back. I think we do 15.
There.
Yeah, so I think we go 15. Look at that, guys. 15 by 42 it is. And then Tim, last but not least, is crown molding. So this is the final. We'll have a 4-piece crown molding situation because I am a simple gal. Because we had to lift the roof, so you didn't see so much of it in the living room, we had to kind of figure out how to achieve this crown because all of this is paneling like this, and I didn't want drywall up there, so now we're just trying to fill in that gap, and I think it's beautiful. We've got our trim, which means tomorrow we start the trim work, and then paint, and then light fixtures, and then table, and we're done. This is so easy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, this is so fun.
So fun. I've got lots of things for you to see.
Meeting with Laura today to finalize a bunch of the design decisions so we can get going. Let's start with paint.
Okay, great.
I will say second one feels too green.
Yeah.
That one feels too yellow. Let's hold up juniper tree to make sure this is the right green and not the grandma green.
I think it's brighter.
Okay. Juniper tree it is. Moving
Yes. Okay. So now the wood elements.
Okay.
This is what we're getting from a vendor for the ceiling. So having the verticals be a 2-inch and then the horizontal interact in the middle.
on. Feels thick. There's no way to do all of it thin, so it feels a little more modern. So Laura showed me the shop drawing for the floral hanging situation on the ceiling. I felt like it was too busy. I
Okay.
think that's overkill. So I feel like we need to scale back significantly. So the size is thinner, but also just the amount of detail is a lot less so that the flowers are the star of the show.
Last thing is the window details.
Okay.
Initial thoughts.
This feels, I think with the egg and dart, too traditional.
Okay.
Is there a funky,
Funkier.
what would it be?
What if we did scallops?
You know I love scallops, but a tinier one.
Okay.
Little and tiny and floral, almost like a floral
Yeah.
petal.
Okay.
Yay, I'm excited about that.
Okay, great.
There's just something that's so timeless about a simple little scallop. Even when I think about petals on a flower that looks like little scallops. And so detailing that around the windows to give it a little more charm and character, I feel like that's gonna be the key to making it feel a little sweeter inside. It's gonna be so cute.
Yeah.
Mini. Finally, we get to do this thing. Now that we've nailed some of these details down, we can keep moving forward. A lot is happening. I feel like it's just moving along really quick. The exterior work is being done. On the inside, we're installing the trim work on the walls. One way to elevate a space or to add a little more story is with trim. A little of something can go a long way. It doesn't break the budget. We did a scallop on paint grade material because we were gonna paint it. So some of these little cheats can make it feel more impactful, make it feel more elevated, but you're not spending too much to make a pretty cool impact. This whole herbarium thing started like as a little dream of mine on the farm, and I'm wanting people to see that most of the flowers that they're working with came from my garden. Let me show you some of the things that I love to dry. This is Gomphrena. These are zinnias. The older I get, the seasons seem to go faster. That's just life, I guess. Your kids get older quicker, and this new hobby of mine, I think, has helped me slow down time just a little bit. And that noise is the story of my life this season here at the farm. I feel like there's construction happening here. That's something that Chip and I just love. There's nothing like being in the garden and hearing the birds, the bees, and that. So today I'm just gonna be cutting some of this Gomphrena, drying it on the rack to get it ready for the silos. So you can see here's some Gomphrena, which is what I'm drying right here, from about a week ago. So that's what it'll look like. So obviously the bulkier you get this, the more impact. So what I'll do, I just process it. I don't want all the leaves. Sometimes obviously dried leaves can be a bit much. And so I'll typically take a bundle this size, think about it as far as like, how do I want this to look when you're looking up? And then I'll bundle them up and dry them on this rack, and it'll take a couple weeks, and then the team will come and pull these. They're drying stuff that is growing at the silos. I'm drying stuff that's growing in my garden, so that once it's time to stage and style the herbarium, we will have all the dried florals we need. There's just so many different ways you can preserve a flower, and everything from the way you need to cut the flower to the way you should preserve it. Some flowers you can't dry upside down. They just don't look great. Some flowers you can't press because there's too much moisture in them. So there's all these different ways to approach it that I'm hoping we get to teach at the silos, so that when they go home, they can decide what's their favorite method, and then they can get started at their own homes. So I am here to just see how things are going. I wanted to see the paint on the walls. You can see that all the trim is little pegs for all the drying flowers. So I feel like it looks really good in here. You can now see the full floor. We just need to clean this up. But I wanted to basically seed the hanging rack that'll be hanging from the ceiling. The first sample I had was a little too thick. They mocked up another sample, so I'm approving this one because I like just how it's a little more minimal, and I love that it's light wood, so it'll be a nice complement to this really kind of subtle, pretty green color. Everything is really coming together. I feel like all we're waiting on now are the workshop tables, that huge piece in the back that's gonna have all the supplies on it, and then all the little finishing touches. But we're very close. And so whether it be at the farm or the garden at the silos, we are gathering as much as we can. We've been drying flowers, we've been pressing flowers. We're getting ready so that right when it's finished, we can move all that stuff in. The herbarium is looking really good. We've got the trim and the siding being installed on the exterior. We've got the signage being made. Hardware and light fixtures are going in. The large shelving that's gonna be on the back wall is being finished up at the shop, and the hanging rack looks really beautiful. So we're really rounding the corner, and it's almost time to get in there and start styling. While construction's being finished at the herbarium, we are transitioning the shop at the silos from summer to fall. Those signs, they're really cute. Those beautiful cloches, look at that. Because of my love of pressing and drying flowers, we are doing a whole install with all the dried flowers from my farm and the garden at the silos. And basically, I really just want to carry over the theme from the herbarium into the shop. Okay, this one will go over there. It's probably not illegal. Oh, look. This is bluebonnets from the farm. A lot of the flowers that I'd pressed at the farm, the team printed, and most of the flowers that you're seeing in the shop came from my spring and summer garden. You can take that one back then, and I'll just pull this. You can pick up a cloche like these at any store that has home decor, but all you do is drill a small little hole in the base. You place the stem of a dried flower inside to create the sweet design. Oh, this little guy, this is from Crew. This was summer of 23, but that was from Crew. I love this little guy. I love the size. Crew, he actually hands me like a flower a day, and he says, press this. Like now I'm being bossed by a 6-year-old, but I love it because he's got the sweetest little heart. But it always starts with story, it starts with intention, and I feel like getting to share that with the guests feels really special. I've got about 30 more of these where that came from. About to overwhelm the store team with all of my presses because I love it so much. Happy fall, y'all. The herbarium is finally finished. We get to go in and style it, stage it out, knowing that this started as like a little inventory shed that was very raw and unfinished, and it evolved into this herbarium where people are gonna be learning something and then hopefully taking that inspiration home with them. It feels really special. But this one's a little different because it's a workshop, so as we're setting the space up, I have to think through how is the guest going to interact with the florals and the paper and all of the supplies. So here we're just creating each space for the guest, a very simple palette that's still creative. The whole point is when the guest sits down and looks at the space that they can't wait to get their hands on the tools. For me, anytime I'm creating anything, I want to see what I have to work with. And so I think that really helped inspire what was next, which is open shelving, that nothing is hidden. And so that when someone steps in, they know that there's nothing that's off limits. I just want it to be very practical, but inspiring and beautiful. These were my first pressed florals that I did at the farm. These were weeds that Chip and Crew pulled for me in a field. So of course I had to frame them. The whole thing to me about flower pressing is creating these memories, but in a new, different way. Obviously, photos are everyone's favorite way to do it, but what's another like tangible and beautiful way to remember a memory? I feel like pressed florals does that for me. So it is my herbarium, and I'm putting my work up there, but I feel like, am I that kindergartner that thinks this is pretty? I don't know. I hope people like it. But I know that it meant something to me. And I just can't wait now for people to step into that space and create some magic. The herbarium is finished and it feels magical. We added new shutters and a new door. We painted those both a really beautiful dark green that ties into all the other green that's happening here at the silos. We added new shingle siding, replaced the cedar wrap beams with these beautiful old hemlock beams, added new sconce lighting, and new signage. And then as you walk inside the space, I will just say, I want to live here, which is the problem. Because that means that we nailed the design, it feels right in here, and it just feels so magical. You've got the dried florals hanging from this really cool system that we designed specifically for this space. The other things are really simple. We added pieces of trim to add a little depth and texture on the wall, left the plywood, but you don't even care that it's plywood. That added texture actually makes it feel a little bit more like a garden shed. The floors are beautiful. We just simply cleaned them up. Didn't have to do anything dramatic, but I'd say the biggest impact that you see in here though is the furniture. It really filled out the space. We had our woodshop team build this table for the actual workshops. They built all of these little details that you can see will be really practical for the guest. These work tables, the coppered tops, which elevates the space a little bit. We added new light fixtures. These add whimsy to the space. And then I love this whole back wall unit. The woodshop team did an amazing job. Very simple tone, really raw, yet refined. It's super functional. You've got the little slats for all the paper. You've got these jars for the materials, cubbies for each floral. It's really sweet. So under all the windows, we added this simple little scallop detail. I actually wore a shirt today to tie into that detail because I'm such a dork, but trimmed out these windows because before they were really raw and just looked unfinished, and then just painted it all one color. So it's really simple. These are the original presses that I did at the farm. Throughout the space, you'll see prints of all my favorite pressed florals. But other than that, that's it. This space really looks like it's been here forever. We've got it stocked, we've got it ready to go. I'm really excited about seeing this actually be put to use. People are gonna love it in here, and I'm just glad this is finally done. I feel like this makes the experience here at the silos even better and more beautiful.
Welcome in.
You know, a lot of the times when I'm designing a space, I try to think about what are the memories that are gonna happen.
We're gonna walk you through a few different ways that you can press flowers.
So when I think about the herbarium, the idea that so many of our guests that have traveled near and far to come here to experience something here at the silos, they're gonna have these memories and these moments that they'll get to take with them. So when I'm designing towards that end goal, like it makes it so rewarding. And now guests are here and they're doing the workshop and they're interacting with these pressed florals, they're learning hopefully a new hobby that they're gonna take home with them and do even more of. Like, I think that is the actual reward, is seeing the guests interact with nature, being inspired by it, and creating these beautiful moments that they'll hopefully always remember.
So look what she did.
Nice.
This is so fun.